Welcome to ANZ Combined Racing League's Daytona 24 hours, well, we'll call it 2.4 hours, our opening season racing for 2022. And we're here on Xbox Project Cars 2. And just into practice, 18 minutes remaining. And following this, we'll have a 15-minute qualifying session for all cars. And the guys will be pumped up here right now, looking towards getting the final setups correct for the race. I'd imagine this session here will have drivers basically running on full fuel loads, and just to get ready for this race and how the car's going to be feeling. While saying that, Dark Lord's on a very low tank of 12.3 litres in the Porsche, as the two LMPHs of Illogical Sports and Sato 15 go flying past him. Sato 15, if you might be aware, here at ANZ Combined Racing League, originally this is normally a 6-hour event over simulating the 24 hours with 4 sessions. Due to a lot of late entries being cancelled, or when I say a lot, it was 3, changed down from 11 entries down to 8. As a lot of work has to be involved to try and keep the 6-hour going, it was deemed as best to change it to a 2.4-hour single session. It's the solo drivers. And what I'm getting at is Sato 15 was alongside this man here, Matty Seeking. They were in the number 20 P51 Sim Sports car in the Orica, the only open cockpit LMP2 car on the grid. And they were into around the 35s, I think actually Sato was in, so very competitive time in the practice. So this car should be capable of running mid-pack even for a podium and pick up any pieces on their way. So we'll keep an eye on P51 Sims, but seeing it went solo, Sato decided to jump into the Ligier Judd. It's the first time we've actually seen the Judd enter in the 24-hour Daytona. So it'll be interesting to see how this car goes. It's a bit of an unknown little weapon here, but as you can see, he's really keeping on the back of Highlander. So both the Nissan and the Judd has just pushed the limits a little bit. A lot of aero wash too for these cars, so that's one thing that obviously we've really got to get the head back around. And we've had a long Christmas, New Year break, so all the guys have to get back into the swing of things. People like Sato and Illogical, Matty Seeking, Commander Cirrus, they've already had their 24-hour on iRacing, but as we know, this is a totally different beast, this game, and they obviously got to get their heads back around this, not only on PC but back onto the Xbox as well on the console. So we'll see how Sato goes. You know, it's a V8, same as the Nissan, compared to the Honda, which is a V6. That's producing 480 horsepower, this Honda. But the heaviest car of all of them, 900, is extra 50 kilos on the Honda, compared to all the other LMP2 cars, which weigh in at 900 kilos, including the Orica V8. They all producing 400, or actually the Judd actually is only 460 horsepower. As you can see, the more horsepower for the Honda, being a V6 too. The fuel economy is roughly the same for all cars, I believe, just under that 3 litres a lap. We're predicting around about 3 stops over the 2 hours 25 minutes. So metal drive in a K-Max machine. Top Maxie's second in the timesheets at the moment with a 37 in the number 11 K-Max. Metal drive the 2020 Le Mans 24-hour class winner in the GTE class winner back in 2020. Looking for some good results if you can in here at Daytona. And he was in this car last year. K-Max team has been to every single Daytona 24 that ANZCRL have hosted. So this is the 5th year that we've hosted. So we've got 14 entries. We've got 6 of the LMP2 cars and 8 of the GTEs. Now, Blue Falcon, he's a man that we're going to keep an eye on too. If he keeps it nice and steady, he's likely to be nipping on the heels for that final podium spot. Just not quite the pace to the leading cars. That takes nothing away from Blue Falcon though. He's a very safe steerer. And as long as he's got no little hardware issues, we should hopefully see him staying in the fight for quite a while. And obviously with the traffic, as we said, 8 GTE cars, as you can see, he's just ghosted through there because maybe he had been disconnected or someone been disconnected at one stage. So he might not be seeing the Porsche. Ghosting vehicles should be obviously turned off. I would imagine that it is. So get into the GTE class, Dark Racing 40. The man, we've got a lot to talk about Dark Racing 40 throughout the event, but good and bad, I guess. We'll start off with the bad to get it over and done with, and that was last year. He was in the fight with the P51 Sim Sports all race over the full 6 hours, and basically coming out of the final banking of the NASCAR car banking, he ran out of fuel. So we knew around here when he was coming out of the banking of the turn 3 banking of NASCAR and into the bus stop, he was going to cut it short. His fuel was so low, and basically coughed and spluttered out of the bus stop as it was known back then last year, now at the Le Mans chicane, and basically was out spluttered and came out of fuel through this corner, and the P51 Sim Sports Chevrolet of Commander Cirrus and Jetto were able to nip him at the line, and he kept creeping and finished in second, 12 seconds behind. So that's known as doing a champion, and I'm sure that he's learned his lessons there, and that won't be happening again this year. And J. Rudd B in the Ford, classic Ford, doing a great job. In second on the timesheets at the moment with a low 42.1, so that's not too shabby at all. So good pace from J. Rudd early on in this practice session. We've got about almost halfway through, and that may have been the might of Commander Cirrus behind. Yes, it is coming through the kink. So Commander Cirrus, this is the reigning champion from last year, the number 3 Corvette. As we said, we've had to go away from the team's race due to the low numbers. We only had 8 entries, and all 8 entries pretty much have stuck by. And a couple of guys, myself included, and I think Simo Racing Highlander's teammate, haven't been able to make the race. I'm here obviously doing the commentary. So Jetto 13 has got the number 4 stickers whacked onto the side of the spare Corvette. Be obviously fighting for a podium there for the P51 Sim Sports. They'll be looking for a 1-2 in those Corvettes if they can. And then we've also got the next yellow P51 Sim Sports car of Logical Sports in the Ford GTLM. He was teammates with J. Rudd B, who's second fastest at the moment. And we'll just see what the Logicals are doing here with his time. So it looks like he's still only, we'll see, he might be going for a fast, but as we can see, he's on pretty much full fuel tank, so a bit low to the full tank. 89 litres in the, actually no, 88 litres, sorry, in the Ford. So he's probably started out this session, if he hasn't been back in the pits, with the 88 litres, just running it and just seeing how things go with the full tank. And these guys will probably stop in twice, definitely. They won't get through on one stop on any of the GTE cars, but it'll be all about the difference it's going to take to fill up the tanks. We've got different variety of fuel tank sizes. We know the Porsche can go almost to the end, as Gear 3 Gaming here in the number 91 Porsche, where we all know that they can almost do an hour session. If they're pushing hard, they're just going to get short. So that'll be their first pit stop around the hour mark. Some of the other GTs will probably around the 55-minute mark. And then again, they'll pit before the second hour. And that'll then determine how much fuel they put in for the run to the flag. As we said, 2 hours, 25 minutes. Simulating a full 24 hours. We've got times 10 time progression. So Gear 3 Gaming starting to get comfortable in that Porsche with the 42.521. You can see there's not much time at all, the difference between the leading GTE right down through the field to 8th. You're looking at 2 seconds separating the whole field. So it's going to be very competitive. Jetto's still trying to find some extra time there, logical. And Devil X, now he's, we know he's fast. He can produce some very fast single laps, but it's about trying to get those laps one after the other. Grouping those laps in when he wants to push, and then may just have to back it off a little bit just to conserve. And when he wants to attack again, just have those little bursts and make sure those laps are consistent. And we should see him knocking on the doors near the end too. It's a very hard field to really suggest, where it's going to go, because the GTE field is so evenly matched, as you can see by the time difference. As Dark Lord just brings that time down a little bit further. So we're only about a second and a half now between first and 8th, right through the field. So it's going to make it a very interesting race, and it's also going to make it very difficult for these LMP2 cars to actually overtake when they're probably going to come up to them around every 8 laps. I would say 7 to 8 laps. They're going to have to lap them, and if these cars are pretty much in a train, they can get really caught out, especially if they're going to catch them before the Le Mans chicane, and even in some sections of the infield. It's going to get very dicey, and everyone's going to have their wits about them, that's for sure. So Highlander with a 43.395. I mean, 34, sorry, 34. Fastest time he's actually has been able to do was during the official practice on Thursday, was a 33.561. So obviously that was on low tanks too. So a lot of these guys, as you can see, he's mid-tank at the moment. And Sato, he's been pulling out some big numbers too. For someone that hasn't had much time in this car, he's probably only had overnight really to really get this car sorted. I tell you what, he's doing a tremendous job with a time only 200ths of a second behind Highlander at this stage. Big surprise at the moment is Dado, obviously with a 35.1. We know it's practice. But you'd be thinking that he would be wanting to get into those 34s if he can. As one of the Corvettes in front has a bit of a spin in front of him. Thought it was a disconnect, or mean it straight back to the pits at one stage. The Dado in the number 5 Balti Motorsport car. Looking to have a better result from what we had last year. I was his teammate last year, and obviously he had a few hardware issues back then. Since last year, he's upgraded to the new Xbox and got himself some nice new hardware, new Fanatec pedals and steering wheel. And along came also his results after he did that throughout 2021. We've got plenty where we can tick things off. He won the Sakito 10 hour last year. And then in a Lamborghini through the GT3 Sprint Cup, he absolutely dominated that and won that as well. So did very well. Dado Racer in the back half of 2021. He's back in the pits there. Though 35.1, not too bad. Matty Seeking. We might spend the time just to be on top here and on board with Matty. The screen's just a little bit jerky for us at the moment, so hopefully that's going to be all right for everyone in the lobby. The number 88 P51 Sim Sports car, so they've come away with obviously 4 cars in total in the field, 1 in the LMP2 and 3 in the GTE category, 2 Corvettes and 1 Ford GTLM GTE, and Matty's up in the first sector, aiming to get into probably a high 35. Best that he did on Thursday practice was a 36.166. So he's almost, if he keeps this up, he should be able to better his best time that he's been able to do in this car. Taking a nice tight line through the first 2 right-hand parts of that Le Mans chicane. You really need to. You can't drift out too wide, you lose a lot of time. If you're drifting out wide too, you've got the rear end squirming all over the place at the same time. So he's done well there. He's actually fighting here. He should get underneath the into the 35s, which will be as fast as he's done so far. Practice on Thursday, as we said, was a low 36, so there you go. So Matty in the 35.979. Nice run by Matty, so thank you to the P51 Sim Sports for letting us ride on board. So he's up the ante, Matty. And we know that the fuel economy on these about 3 litres a lap, pretty much on par to all the other Ligiers. The Hondas maybe just nudges just under 3 litres a lap due to it being a V6, but it's got a little bit more horsepower, so it does use probably a little bit more juice. Got metal drive out there, 0.6 of a second. Highlander, I mean, Sato's actually gone fastest in the practice. And he almost went faster again. So is he going to go for it again here? All the rear end, he's just pushed it in too hard there. Got all excited by seeing that time, but let's see what Highlander, if he's going to respond. We'll get to see if he's up actually on this sector 2. If he's going to continue on. No, he's down by a lot. Obviously he's come out of the pit, so that's the end of that. Dado Racer, he got in for this next lap, so we'll just see how he goes into sector 2. If he's up. Oh, he's down a lot too. He's not going to make any bit more results from where he is at the moment. J-Rod B doing a really good job in this Ford. Second fastest. Bit of a surprise. We were thinking obviously the Porsches and the Corvettes to be up 1, 2 and 3. Well, we would have imagined, and maybe 4, but obviously Gear 3 Gaming just struggling just a little bit, but not too much off the pace. Only about 500, just over 500 of a second, or half a second off the pace at the moment. And J-Rod B out of sector 2. I don't think he's going to improve. But I wonder what Commander Cirrus was on, if he's going to try, and he'd be the last car coming through. Banged up a little bit there. So here we go. So that's the end of the practice. Sato 15, fastest in the 4C motorsport car. With Highlander 1777, not that far, 0.15 second. 10th of a second basically off from Sato in the NVR racing team. Metal Drive, nice little opening stanza for Metal Drive for the practice to put that K-Max car third. And not too far behind him was Dado Racer. Matty Seeking, 1 minute, or 1.5 seconds I should say, behind. And Blue Falcon, just over 3 seconds behind. So we'll see how Blue Falcon fares. And then Dark Racing 40 tops the timesheets again in the GTEs with J Rudd B. So that's, as we said, a nice little surprise for the Classic Racing Ford. With the pairing of the last year's winners, Jetto 13, actually just topping up a bit better than Commander Cirrus there in that practice with Gear 3 Gaming. The man that came second alongside Dark Racing 40 in the same Porsche. So he's in that 91 Porsche with Dark Lord and Devil in the third and fourth Porsches, with Logical Sports down a bit further down. And he's obviously struggling with a little bit of a back problem as well. So hopefully he's all well, fit and healthy to continue on. So here we go, 15 minutes qualifying, guys. And we'll obviously see these guys. Look at all these Porsches all coming all out all at once. It's a Porsche show. And we've got obviously the... we're separating them with 91A, or 91 and 91A. And then Dark Lord's in the 92 with Devil XXC 92A. And Gear 3 Gaming in that leading Porsche is in the 91. And we have Dark Racing wherever we can find Dark Racing here. He'll be in the 91A Porsche. Dark Racing 40. So the time's 1 PM with medium cloud for this practice session. Previous was 11 AM and overcasts. So while we have a look, we might as well have a look. Sato was the fastest in practice. So a little bit on history on Sato 15 as well, with in this V8 Judd Ligier JSP2 chassis. As we know, 460 horsepower and 900 kilos. And he's in this 24 4C motorsport car. He's obviously last year's winner of the Le Mans 24 Hours in the LMPH car alongside Dark Racing 40. And they did that in the Porsche, and the previous year they did it in the Audi. So they've actually 2 years in a row they've won the Le Mans 24 Hours. Oh, I think Darky had. I'm not sure. Yeah, pretty sure. I don't think Sato was in it. Sorry, we'll have to double check that. But the Endurance Team Series, he won that in the LMP3 class last year. Also the V8 Supercars champion last year. And then he had a sensational victory back in 2019. His first major one was the Imola 4 Hours in the LMP3 class. And alongside that, he's got plenty of race wins behind him. A lot of seconds, a lot of thirds in the championships as well. But we can probably go through that throughout the race a little bit, going through some of the history at one of our website at ozausnzcrl.weebly.com. We'll be checking that out and seeing other good little facts with Sato. So a lot of these cars will actually be on flying laps at the moment. Good to have the map up because we get to find a reference on their best time. You see Dado just knowing he's going to have to abandon this lap. The good thing is he should be able to get a nice draft from these few up. Oh, he didn't want to do that. He just needs to settle down. He sets him up. Should have set himself up for the next lap because he would have got a nice draft from plenty of these other cars. There's a couple more cars in front. As you could have seen, he cost himself not being able to get on the back of the toe of those Porsches, whereas Metal Drive, he's in a good position at the moment. I think Dark Lord is actually the fastest of the GTE, so Dark Racing 40, sorry. Put in a 41.2 with Jetto with a 41.8. It's getting very busy in this little pack here, but a lot of those LMP2s have all got past now. Matty Seekin with a 35.946 second on the timesheets for qualifying. Something that he will cherish at the moment, as it'll start to drop as Sato now tops the timesheets with a 34.2. We should be looking for a 33, a low 33 for pole. Just a bit of a loss of the rear end or a glitch there for Matty, but Metal Drive continuing on through here out of NASCAR turn 2. Turn 3, I should say. Turn 2, I think that, yeah, turn 2. And will he be up? No, he's down a little bit, probably getting through that traffic that was just behind him. You can see where on the map the arrow is obviously Metal Drive and behind the all the other cars, the yellow dot, I mean the white dots. So we've got Dado just about to cross the start finish line, so we'll see him come up the grid order into 5th. Sato's into the pits. And Metal Drive, he's he won the Le Mans 24 hour actually in 2020 in the GTE class alongside Dado Racer in the Aston Martin. So Metal Drive's up in the first sector. Can he continue this on? See him in the probably the mid 35s if he continues. So we've just got information here. J. Rudd B's been just got disqualified for speeding in pit lane. So that's unfortunate. So he got disconnected, I mean not disconnected, disqualified. So he'll be starting at the back of the grid after a great practice session. That's unfortunate. So obviously he had the pit limiter engaged. It was said that it was engaged, and it's a little glitch in the game sometimes, and I've always said I always press that button and then press it again and it'll say it's off, and then press it again so it's on. Leaving for qualifying, even sometimes leaving the pits, a bit dubious sometimes in the race when you're leaving the pits after you've got your stop, but the limiter's still engaged. So yeah, it's a bit of a problem sometimes. Metal Drive in that mid 35s as we predicted. Dado Racer smashes it down in the 34s. Highlander into the 33.7, and he's leaving the pit lane to get a few more laps in to try and probably his last run. Dark Racing 40s still tops the timesheets in GTE, with a Logical Sports now up the ante in the, Devil X, sorry. As we said, he's a young driver. He's got plenty of pace to burn. And he's in the 92A. Obviously we can't see because they're both in the 92 car. The game doesn't give us the option to put an A. But he's in the 92A car. And he's just following Dark Lord in front. And Dark Lord has done a 43.34, so think Dark Lord may be on a bit of a faster lap this time around. Oh, as Devil X goes straight through, so that's going to make him not be able to continue on to the next lap. But Dark Lord is up nearly by a second. And maybe Devil's going to try and give him a little bit of a draft, so a little bit of team help going on there to see if Dark Lord can climb this ladder. He should get in front of Gear, I'd imagine, in the other Porsche. With that time he has, he's dropped up onto 5th position in class. So that's a great lap by Dark Lord, with a little bit of help from his mate Illogical Sports. I mean, from Devil X. Jetto's following someone behind him, but just don't know who it is. Oh, Commander Cirrus. I wonder if they've done the same thing as what we just seen before. Commander Cirrus lagging into 12th at the moment. I mean 6th, I should say, in class. But again, just over a second separating first to 7th. Commander Cirrus again. His car looks a bit beaten up, so I don't know if he's having a few little lag spikes, which showing his car up probably a little bit dim. Oh, and Jetto obviously coming into that final corner, into the first corner with a little bit of extra speed after having a draft from Commander Cirrus. And always throw people out that aren't ready for it. So Datto's up into 3rd position. He'll be happy about that at the moment, knowing that he'll be behind Highlander. But obviously Datto would like to get in that front row if he can. But being on the inside into turn 1 just behind Highlander, it's probably a nice little safe little spot to be, because he can just nose into, nose near the back of Highlander and follow him around turn 1 and see what happens. But he's up half a second, so he's actually on pole position pace here, Datto. If he continues this on, and he can improve a little bit through the bankings. He's got a few cars coming up around. If they're GTE cars, he may get that for a final draft down into the starting straight. So this could be very good for Datto, but we're not too sure what those cars are in front of him. And they're coming through the Le Mans chicane now. It sounds like the Corvettes to me. He may catch them, he may not though. I don't think he's going to catch them. Lost a little bit of time through Sector 2. Absolutely flying though. This pace that he's doing now will put him second. He'll be in front of Sato. Be into the 33s, in a high 33. He may just now get balked out with, no, just a low 34. Didn't quite crack the 33, but he may have to abandon this lap because there's a lot of cars going to be in his way. He might just push here just to see if he gets a bit of luck through the kink. And I reckon he's going to be balked out through the Western Horseshoe, because he's come out of the International Horseshoe there. Remember, these cars don't like too much aero wash. So not too bad at the moment. If he gets, he actually could benefit actually from a nice draft, but you can see 0.6 down, so he's not going to make that time up. Sato looks like he's in the pits. He's actually coming out for another run. So he's going to try things all out. He's got low fuel, 14.9. There's Highlander, the man who's got pole at the moment, just comes screaming out from the pit exit area. And obviously seeing if he's going to see if he can actually get, he's got enough fuel to be able to do this lap and the next. So you may see Highlander knock this time down. He's got pretty much clear track. There's one car in front of him, which is either Blue Falcon or Metal Drive in the K-Max machine. So it's definitely going to be this lap around if he's going to do anything. Then he might, hopefully he finds, we'll just see if that's Metal Drive in front. Yes, it is. So that's good that it's Metal Drive in front, knowing that he's not too far off the pace, Metal Drive. Is he going to better his time through this section? No, he's not. He's got another lap to try and do something, Metal Drive. Interesting to see what Sadow's going to be doing. He's trying to get a run here, coming up high. He's going to have a Porsche. Give a little bit of a tow before he gets into turn 1. Porsche won't want to be backing off though, because he's probably going to be trying a hot lap. This could cost Sadow. It's going to cause a lot of, yes, that's going to cost Sadow dearly. Yep, he's had to abandon that. So Dado's also in the pits. See if Metal Drive is up. He's up. He's up by a little bit. Needs a lot more than that though. We won't get the, we'll check to see what Highlander is out of the Le Mans chicane. In LMP, I mean GTE, we've still got Dark Lord on pole. I mean Dark Racing, sorry, on pole. With Jeddo in second by the looks of things. Devil X, but he's got a grid penalty, so he'll drop from 3rd to 4th. And a logical jump into 3rd, so a nice position for him, as we were saying before. And then Gear 3 Gaming, there's going to be a mammoth of Porsches. Commander Cirrus still right down at the back at the moment, so yeah, sorry we didn't see the splits there, but we'll have a little look. We're going to keep an eye on Highlander here. Metal Drive, will he go better? No, he's in the pits. So he wasn't any better, but Highlander looks like he might have had an opportunity. He's gone a little bit faster, 33.672. A screaming lap time by Metal Drive, and Blue Falcon's up by 100th of a second. The final out of Sector 2. He's got the run to the flag, so that's just going to drop him down just a little bit in that time. So bring him a little bit closer. He's going to come in the pits. He likes that 888, so probably keep the 888. So I think that might be all over. Commander Cirrus is finished. The 2 Porsches are still going. No, he's into the pits. Devil X is continuing on. They're waiting for someone. Maybe Commander Cirrus. Not too sure what was going on there. So there's our grid. We have Highlander on pole. And then we have Sadow 15. Had to abandon that lap that we thought that could have got him maybe that last run. But he got balked by the one of the Porsches, I think it was. So he had to pull out from that. So then we've got Dado Racer in 3rd. Metal Drive in 4th. Matty Seeking will be in 5th with Blue Falcon in 6th to round up the field of the LMP2s. And then we'll go through the GTE class. We have the Dark Racing 40 on pole. He's been fast all weekend long. And then Jeddo 13, nice reigning champion position there in 2nd. What's he only 3 100ths behind, and then Devil X with 1 grid penalty space, so we'll have Illogical Sports in 3rd, and then we'll have Devil X in 4th. And then following that will be Gear 3 Gaming in the reigning Porsche alongside him will be Dark Lord in the 92 Porsche. And then we got Commander Cirrus in 7th on the 4th row. And after that we have got J. Rudd B after he got DQ'd for speeding in pit lane. So we're just checking to make sure everyone's all right. They might be having a break. So before we press continue, I'm just in chat at the moment. Okay, welcome back. So we're all good to go. So we'll continue on now. And here we go for our our Le Mans 2.4 hours. So it's 3 p.m. in-game time. And we've got 2 hours, 25 minutes with a times 10 time progression, which should just get us just under the 24-hour mark, I think, from memory. So they got the formation lap to do. And then it's all go. So it's going to be good to see how this all goes. So they've got the 2-minute screen ready to obviously just make sure they've got all their setups loaded in, how they want it to go. Make sure they've got their pit strategy sorted. Plenty needs to go through. There's be a few little nerves going on. Big event here. The first time we've actually run it as a 2.4 hour race. As we said, normally we have 4 sessions. We have an hour session with a ×2 time progression. Then we have on a Saturday afternoon, and then Saturday night we have a 2-hour session with ×10 time progression. ×5, sorry, time progression. So that equals then a 12-hour period, and it finishes at 3 a.m. in the morning in game time. And then on Sunday morning, we'd normally start around about 9 o'clock for another 2-hour session, and that sees us through the game of early morning into the mid-afternoon with a ×5 time progression. And then we finish off in the afternoon, usually from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, where we have the 1 hour session with the ×2 for the simulated of the other 12 hours. So that makes it the full 24 hour. And that gives us time to have driver changes, and we also had compression time formulas to keep the grid sort of compressed with a formula. And it's used to always, basically if you're on this round here, 3.5 bit laps down, you'd actually, with a time compression, will actually sort of bring you back on the lead lap, only just. So here we got Highlander in the NVR racing team. Number 3, the reigning champions from last year with Simo Racing, normally on board with Highlander. Sato 15 in the 4C, number 24, 4C Motorsport, Judd. The Ligier Judd. Dado Racer in the number 5 Bolting, Ligier Honda. And obviously I was signed up to be his teammate when we were actually had it still organised as a team event. And then we got Metal Drive 05 in the 11 K-Max, Ligier Nissan in 4th position. In 5th, Matty Seeking in the only open cockpit LMP2 car in the 88 P51 Sim Sports Orica 03 Nissan. And then Blue Falcon, who was Metal Drive's teammate in the number 12 K-Max Motorsports car in 6th position. So then the leading GTE car is Dark Racing 40, who obviously wants to make amends from last year after running out of fuel, leading the race on the last lap, last corner pretty much. So he wants to do himself better favours here and know that his fuel strategy a little bit better this time around. And he got pole over this man, Jetto 13, who is the reigning champion. Him and Commander Cirrus in the number 4 Corvette P51 Sim Sports Chevy Corvette. And then a Logical Sports in the next of the yellow P51 Sim Sports, but in the Ford. So a bit of a rivalry between the Chev and the Ford there in the camp of the P51 Sim Sport garage. Devil X, the second of the Porsches, great job. And obviously he was there or thereabouts in the first session last year, but just fell on the wayside and ended up finishing last in class last year. But he's obviously got the pace, as does Gear 3 Gaming in the third of the Porsches. And then we have Dark Lord in the final of the Porsches in the number 92. Commander Cirrus in the last of the P51 Sim Sports, and Jay Rudd, who was disqualified from speeding out of pit lane. But here we go up front, and there's a big gap between second, well, the first line of grid and the rest. So that's strange. Dado's really held them up there. So look at Matty Seeking having a nice little look. We might just keep an eye on down here, because this could get interesting between these two. As Metal goes around the outside. Will he be able to keep it around? Oh, as Matty has looped it in probably the worst place that he can loop it. At turn 1, that's going to be a bit of damage. And Metal Drive and Blue Falcon are battling it out, with Highlander still up in front with a nice little handy gap early on. Now back into the GTE field, we got obviously Dark Racing 40 cleared out in front from Jetto, and look who's right behind on Jetto is a Logical Sports. Having a nice little look here into the Western Horseshoe. And plenty of buzzers of the Porsches all around. So a nice clean start, other than by the looks of things, other than of Matty Seeking, who's way back. So Matty Seeking obviously had to wait for that field to come on through before he could actually start that race. But Highlander coming around the final banking to lead lap 1. So we'll see if Matty needs to actually come in for any pit repairs, as he's now battling to come on through the field of the GTEs. But look at the battle here with Highlanders trying to keep at bay Sato. We know Sato goes hard early on. Nice opening lap, and it looks like Matty's actually stayed out, so he hasn't had to go in for the pits for any repair damage, so that's good to see. And Darky obviously still in front in that Porsche, but we've got Metal Drive obviously defending, probably close, getting on the back of, actually trying to stay on the back, I should say, of Dado Racer in the Honda. He's just 3 seconds behind this leading pack. He probably just wants to get himself settled into this race. Like most drivers, as you'd imagine. So we've got obviously Dark Racing 40 setting a pretty good, nice 55 first lap around on an opening lap. So that's a nice opening lap with full fuel. For the Porsche. So we should see as Highlander has picked up something's gone wrong there. Highlander's actually picked up a penalty as well, and obviously had a little bit of a mistake. Something went on there. So I was just going to start checking the fuels. They've all got 67, but Highlander right behind Dado now. Who Sato has taken the lead of the race, lap 2, and then lap 3. So that's also been a little bit, Metal Drive would have seen all that too, and he'd be licking his lips there in 4th position in Blue Falcon. About to be 10 seconds behind the leaders here, but we've still got this battle with the Logical Sports and Dark Racing 40, and obviously the remaining P51 Sim Sport car of Jetto. Commander Cirrus is still struggling right at the back. He's obviously having some glitches in the game again. I'd say. He has troubles with big fields, I think, with his connection. So this could be a spelling disaster for him, unfortunately, for the P51 Sim Sports crew. Last year's reigning champion. Oh, he's glitching everywhere. So his connection isn't too good. So obviously he's just trying to see if he can, hopefully that settles down for him. J-Rud B, after being disqualified from qualifying starting at the back of the grid, has made up 3 positions. Ended up into 6. And the battle here for the GTE lead is very, very close at the moment. Only half a second separating them. As it looks like Devil X has picked up a penalty too. So Commander Sirius has decided to go on the pits to see if he can organise this issue that he's got and see if that can help. Sometimes pitting can reset a few things, and that's what he'll be hoping for. Highlander is taking Dado on the final banking, but Dado's having a look back down the inside for turn 1. He's going to try and set himself up, but Highlander says, no, I'm going to take this low line. You're going to take it around the outside. It's a drag race, end up into turn 1. So Highlander set him up out of the Le Mans chicane and got a better exit. That's a shame about Commander Sirius though. Something's obviously not right. He has been on pace during practice on Thursday as well, and during the weekends before this race. Everything didn't seem right here from practice and qualifying this afternoon. Obviously shows he's obviously suffering a little bit from hardware issues. It'll be a bit disappointing for him because he's obviously really looking forward to this race and defending his title, but he's got Jetto, and if he can sort things out, Commander Sirius, and find the car handling okay again for him, he could be a factor to help his teammate take victory as well in the race, so all's not lost. Now Highlander's up for the challenge to try and chase down Sato 15, who's out in front. As we've got Jetto in the middle of these 2 Porsches, as he's got a better run, as Devil was made a little bit of a mistake. And now it's just shift up wide to let Gear 3 Gaming come on through. So a little bit of help by the Porsche team. 2 rival teams though, the 91 and the 92. As Gear 3 Gaming sort of showing his nose, just to let Jetto know that they're ready to pounce if he gets that Corvette a little bit crossed up. But he's done well out of the bus stop, Jetto. It didn't faze him. He's kept it strong. As we're looking at the 2 Porsches now, and maybe you might find that Gear 3 Gaming might return this favour and let Devil come on through. Though look at the draft of the Porsches, have been able to gain so much time on that Corvette. A nice draft down the main straight, down the starting straight into the tri-oval. I think this GT battle's going to be exciting right on through. So obviously we've got Matty Seeky just in front of this little battle as well. So Matty's had a pit stop as well that I may not have picked up on the monitors. So he's letting these guys through, staying out of the problem, out of their way. As you can see, the shadow is moving fairly fast on the screen as we got the ×10 time progression. It's getting dark fairly quickly. There's Matty. We'll just see what Matty Seeking's up to there at the moment. And that number 88 seems to struggle through that bus stop. He's not on that throttle nice and early. He's sort of feathering it. So Sado into the 35s that previous lap. As his Dado, Highlander had a rough time too. Maybe getting through some traffic. Doesn't the car look good in this twilight? There's Commander Cirrus back in the pit, so I would imagine that this could be almost game over for Commander Cirrus, unfortunately. We'll just see what's the go. It's Sado. No issues his end. Absolutely killing it. Out front. And that sun in his eyes. Let's have a little look what that looks like as we'll go on board here. As he takes lap 8. Into turn 1. Through the little S's here. Into the International Horseshoe. You can see the shadows of his Ligier on the front of him. Now with a big Ferris wheel to the left, you can see that sun starting to get low through the kink here, no let off, and then into the Western Horseshoe into first gear, get a good traction out of the horseshoe, and then up into this corner here to get you back onto the banking, the NASCAR banking turn 1 and 2. You should get up to near 3, or should be over 300, I'd say, get close to 300 kilometres an hour on these brakes here into the Le Mans chicane. Down into third, see nice tight line there. Shorten up the rotation through the chicane and get the power on nice and early. Basically they feather the throttle through there just to keep the rear stable, and then as soon as the cars turn and they know they're right, they're full on throttle. We should see him up to around that 312. We're just on the 310 until he hits the brakes into turn 1. So there we are on board the 4C Motorsport, the leader of the race. And 4.5 seconds down the road is Highlander. He obviously had a little mistake coming into turn 1 earlier, which gave the lead to Sado. He'll be happy where he's at the moment. Just checking that fuel though, you can see Sado on 48.6, whereas Highlander on the 50. So we'll wonder if he's just doing a little bit of fuel conserving. Dado 49.8. Again, 50 for the metal drive. Blue Falcons 48. So it's all about how they limit their driving style. As we can see, I think Commander Cirrus has actually now has taken himself out of the race. Probably retired. Oops, going down there. We've got Dark Racing 40. 71 litres of fuel. Now the Porsches have, they had the longest pit stop actually. They got 95 litres that they can take on board. So if he runs it down empty to fill it right up to 95, he'll be held that little bit longer compared to Logical Sports in the Ford, which is only 88 litres fuel tank capacity. And as you can see, he's 3 seconds away adrift of Darky, but you can see him in his sights, so that's a good sign. And then Jetto, five and a bit seconds, but he's in front of all these battling Porsches behind him. But the Corvette, that has 89 litres of fuel capacity. There's also, it looks like Commander Cirrus and Matty Seeking have all both dropped out now, so we're down to 12. So those two there have obviously struggled a little bit with probably some sort of connection issue or hardware issue, which is unfortunate. Who knows, we may get them in the commentary booth a little bit later when they settle down and have a cool drink. It is a bit disappointing when people really look forward to these special events here at ANZCRL Combined Racing League, and sometimes things are out of your hands. Could be some bad weather, infrastructure, all that sort of stuff. So yep. Oh, it's Jetto. You could see he took too much curb through the Le Mans chicane and upset that car, and now he's got a bent front left corner. And you could imagine, if I was him, I would be or looking at a pitting, filling up, and that's basically one of the two stops that he'll probably need, because he'll probably be able to get all the way through pitting once more after this one, maybe. But we'll see. Yes, it looks like he's coming in. Yep, he's slowing down. So Jetto on lap, that would have been there, lap 9, I'd say. I might just have a look to see while he's in the pits, the timings. Got 1 second, 2 second penalty, 3 seconds to Highland, 1 second for Sato up and out in front. Sato's just coming up to one of the Porsches, I think, soon to put a lap on. It's getting dark fairly quickly. Actually, it's one of those, the Ford of J. Rudd, who's down in 5th position and only 2 seconds away from Devil X, who's in 4th. And Devil's not too far behind his to Gear 3 Gaming either. Gear 3 Gaming is obviously in the 91 as Sato sets himself up to go down the inside here into the Western Horseshoe. And next stop here is Devil X hasn't got his headlights on and may not have that map, so lucky Daytona has plenty of outfield lights. Okay, so it looks like for some reason they can't join me in the box, but that's all good. Oh, as Sato has gone wide into the bus stop, so that gives Highlander the lead of the race. So lap 12, Sato trying to get through the Porsches through the Le Mans chicane. And hands that over to Highlander, back in the lead now, Highlander. So how things can change as Dado also takes the lead from Sato as well. As you may have seen, I was actually writing things down, so so that's a nice booster for Dado now up in for second, and he can obviously Highlander just trying to get through all that, which he's been able to do through the pack of GTE cars before he gets to the Western Horseshoe. And I'd say Dado's going to be just as happy too, because he's going to be able to get them all through the bank in before he gets up to the Le Mans chicane. So basically, obviously, the two P51 Sim Sports guys, and Matty Seeking and Commander Steer, is just a little bit gutted at the moment. And that's unfortunate too. So cold tyre glitch, I was saying. All the other guys hopefully aren't too bad. We did see a mistake by Jetto, and that's obviously when he bumped over through the Le Mans chicane. As Dado now running up high. It's the best, safest option with the GTE cars. Oh, it's one of the ones trying to go down the inside as well. That's a little bit messy there. They're all moving all over the shot here at the moment. And that's given a run now for J. Rudd B. I think Devil X had the wobbles going, trying to sort things out. Or Gear 3 gaming, I should say. Oh, it's getting tight here. Sado's not giving an inch here. He's trying to push hard through this field as his metal drive. He's got them, the 92 Porsche still not running with any headlights. Sado's trying to not lose touch. This is where level heads prevail. Oh, he's run wide again. Only he's not. Oh, that's so close for him to have collected metal drive. So metal drive now is up into third in the K-Max number 11 Ligier Nissan. And it's all gone backwards for Sado over the last 2 laps after leading the race for not 12 laps, for around 9 laps. So he's been distracted a little bit, and he's now got to try and concentrate to get back into it. So Metal Drive will be happy with that position, a little free ride. That would have been a bit scary seeing the spinning Sado in front of him. And Dark Racing 40 looks like he's still just on the lead lap. He's about to fall a lap down shortly with Highlander. So we've got the 2 class leaders here in screenshot as Highlander looking to make that move, which he should be able to do around the outside of the kink here, as we can see. Nice move by Highlander, picked him up at the right time. A nice move, so here we go. Still just almost onto the 2-hour mark remaining. Well and truly into the dark period of this race. As Dado takes around the high line of Illogical Sports, who's second in class in the number 8 P51 Sim Sports Ford GTLM. And he's actually doing a really good job. Qualified in 4th, got the promotion up to 3rd after Devil X had a 1 grid penalty. So he started in 3rd and currently in 2nd. With J. Rudd B, who was going to be actually his teammate, in 3rd. As you can see, Sado coming around the outside of J. Rudd B to put him a lap down. So all these leading GTE cars are starting to fall their lap down. can see that all the GTE cars have all got that yellow headlights compared to the LMP2s, which have the bright white lights. So you can distinguish the car class through the lights as well, which is sometimes handy, especially for the LMP2 cars, probably also for the GTEs in their mirrors. But you find that when you in the distance you may see a car and you can identify that it is a GTE by the yellow glow. And when it's nice and white, well, you know you've got a class car pretty much in front of you. So it's going to take a little bit longer to try and catch them if you are faster than that car. As you can see all the time, as they got more power, the LMP2 cars, they'll pass around the outside of the banking, with the GTEs holding their line down the inside. As Gear 3 Gaming is, I think, getting, he had a little asterisk, so he must be, well, he's getting on the, just missing the tail of J Rugby actually. So he's just dropped off a little bit. So Jetto, after having that problem at the Le Mans chicane and had to pit back on lap 9. He's now going on through. He's into the 43, so he's lapping the same pace as the leading Porsche. So he'd be gutted that he did this when he had that problem out of the Le Mans chicane. He bounced over the curbs. But knowing now that pretty much he should be able to get this car, I was going to say to the finish by pitting once. He's going to actually fall short. I'd imagine he's going to have to make 2 more pit stops. So will he vary that up and actually maybe pit sometime a little bit earlier than running it all the way empty this time around, so he stops a little bit shorter, throw on a fresh set of tyres, and then next time he'll just have to gauge when he's got a pit to get a full tank on again, or part fill it. A bit of a rough break for Jetto. Blue Falcon, as I said, he's just keeping it steady, and as the other guys maybe fail in front of him, you'll see him push on through, and he's doing his stable 37s all the way around. As you can see, both Metal Drive and Sato did a 39 previous lap, could be due to traffic. And a low 37 that time around for Blue Falcon. So he's definitely in the groove, and as long as he stays into that, hopefully we should see him latch onto the back of another LMP2 somewhere along the line in this race, obviously with pit stops and everything else to play out. Sato's just starting to, he's just wavering a little bit. He's obviously getting through some traffic here. He's 2 times in the 39s, I think, so... We've seen Sato do this before though and still come out on top. He can have a couple of spins and get back onto pace very quickly, and find himself still hunting down for the lead by the end of the race. So a long way to go. But 30 seconds is 30 seconds. He's still got to try and make up over 2 hours. And he's got tough competition in Highlander and Dado, both in those mid-35s. So let's see if Sato's been able to get back into the 35s. No, still a 39.4. They're losing touch with the leaders at the moment through some traffic. Highlander on 21 litres of fuel. And Dado just a little bit less than that on 20 litres. Obviously been pushing a little bit harder to try and keep up. The best fuel conserve is Metal Drive on 21.6. He's done really good with his fuel. Blue Falcon in the same car, obviously you can see he's used a little bit more, so probably holding it in the high rev range a little bit longer than what Metal Drive's doing. Obviously a little bit more probably inexperience in the car. Metal Drive, as we said, has driven this car. And I think he also drove it through the one of the series that we had throughout the year, last year. So Logical's been clean of any penalties, as has Dado, and also Jetto, who's been another driver that hasn't picked up any penalties yet. So they've been fairly clean in the first 30 minutes of this race. So the race we're probably predicting around about the 91 laps. So of the race distance. Now you could imagine that Highlander may come in round about another 4 laps as Sadex comes in for a pit stop, filling up his fuel. So full tank of fuel, 75 litres. Maybe some damage repair too. He's sitting there. Don't think he would have been putting tyres on. Oh, he's stalled it. Off he goes. So that's lengthy stop, about 40 seconds for Sado. So out he goes. So he's going to be probably 4 lap down. He would have, yes. As Metal Drive's coming on through. I think he'll be in front of Metal Drive maybe. No, he's not. He's still coming out of the leaf. Oh, he spun it. Out of pit lane. So Sado. Now see, that brings Blue Falcon now up into 4th position. The question is, when will these guys come into the pits? Around lap 24, lap 25 maybe. He's got a 10-second buffer to Dado Racer in the Bolting Motorsports Honda. And then a further 21 seconds in from Metal Drive. So he's looking very comfortable at the moment, Highlander. As Devil X comes in with a pretty battered up Porsche, so you could imagine that this is going to be a lengthy stop for Devil X as the headlights now magically come on. We're just waiting to see how long this may take. It's a quick stop though, only 23 seconds, so not too sure what he was doing, if he's get damage repaired or not, but that was fairly quick as Sado's back in the pits again. So I wonder if he's got any problems with tyres. He wouldn't have problems in the first part of the race because he obviously was leading very well and was doing some nice fast times until he made a mistake. So that's dropped now Sado well down the order. He's now 7th overall with 2 GTE cars in front of him. So he's got Dark Racing 40 actually in front, and Logical Sport. So Dark Racing 40 is actually coming on to the back of Jetto, I think it is. Yeah. Now, Jetto himself has done fairly well through ANZCRL with the win last year alongside Commander Cirrus, and plenty of other series minor placings on the championships as well. And there's another Porsche, I think that may be Devil X. Yes, so that brings Jetto up again, up now into 6th position in class. And Sato now starting to make his way through those GTs. He's got through 2nd place of the GT class of Logical Sports. And he's got another 4 seconds before he'll find Dark Racing 40. He might just stick on this with Sato because he's going to have a couple of Porsches to get through, and the Corvette of Jetto. Up around the outside. It's a shame that we don't have Commander Cirrus, who's obviously was vying for victory tonight as well. As Sato sticks around the outside of braking. Can he pull it up? He's coming pretty hot, but he's been able to do it. Nice driving by Sato. And trying to pick up where we were there with these guys here in Jetto. Devil X just behind him, making a move. So Devil's looking around the outside here up into turn 1, but he's holding strong, Jetto. Oh, was that actually Dark Racing 40? That's actually Dark Racing 40, sorry. The 91, the leader of the class. Putting a lap on Jetto with Devil now right behind. You can see the brake lights reflecting off that damaged bumper of Devil X. Now this is the battle for last place, and it's fairly heated at the moment. The agile Porsche being able to get turned in very nicely through the Western Horseshoe and then back here now onto the banking. But the one thing is the Corvette does take off. It's got a little bit better grunt coming out, but the Porsche's top end speed, and with that draft normally they pick up quite a bit of pace. So it's funny that he's not in the draft, Devil. If he can fix that damage, obviously that's going to cost him top end speed too with it all crunched up. Now we will see another move by Devil up into turn 1 here. He's setting himself up though, having a look. Jetto said you're going to have to take the high side. He hasn't budged. He's going to try and defend here, Jetto. The Porsche, as we know, good on the brakes. You can see here how good the Porsche is. So he's around the outside. He should be able to turn in there. So he's made that move. So Blue Falcon is in the pits on lap 25. As is Highlander, his teammate. I mean, not his teammate, the leader of the race. And Dado's come in, so they've all followed one another. Metal Drive stayed out by the looks. No, he can do one more lap. He's going to do one more lap, is he? No, he's going to come in. He's not going to risk it. So he's in the pits. So Highlander, that'll be Blue Falcon leaving. Now, did Highlander have any damage? So there you go. You've got Dado actually out in front, so he's been able to leapfrog in the pit stops here. Both got 75 litres of fuel, so that's a big change in the lead. Change of the lead with Dado taking the lead of this race. So maybe there's a little bit of damage for Highlander as well. So we've got a change of a lead here on lap 26 with Dado Racer now leading. Metal Drive still in the pits. He's just come out now. And Sado is still in 5th position. So we'll find out where Sado is. Sado is he a lap down? He's obviously a lap down from these leaders from some problems. So he's trying to unlap himself actually here right now from Dado. So Dado may be, well, I wouldn't say wise to let Sado go actually, because we've seen Sado a little bit loose, so you don't want to be distracted by that either. So Dado's probably best just to push on here, and if Sado's quick enough he should be able to pull alongside, and Dado then would probably let him go. But there's no use sort of giving Sado a free ticket here. If he does lift for Sado as well, he's also giving some time back for Highlander. So big moment of this race here with 1 hour 42 remaining when they've come in for the pits on lap 26. Highlander in first with Dado in second, and Metal Drive was in third, but Dado's been able to have a shorter pit stop and come out in front. Dado may not have put tyres on too, I'd say. Maybe that's another thing. Highlander could have put tyres on. That could have been the extra wait time as well. So you may see that Highlander may start coming on strong later in this session as Dado tries to hold on with these older set of tyres. But while you're in the lead of the race, obviously you can also defend as well. So the advantage is definitely in Dado's hands here. Now we've got here that something about Sham's pit boxes is on, so maybe they're pulling up in the same pit box. You wouldn't think they'd have to in this game because there's a long pit lane for enough cars to be in their own individual bays. But anyway, oh, see, that's how much it can actually push you off. Blue Falcon in front, I think. Was it Blue Falcon? Yeah, it could be Blue Falcon, I think. May have just put Dado off, and he's obviously let Sado through. And look at the top end speed of this Honda too, just flying 320 kilometres an hour before he started putting on the brakes. Getting that draft by the other LMP2 cars. The pace is fairly fast at the moment. Sado's unlapped himself. What sort of fuel load? Sado's got 56, so he's not too bad as far as fuel's concerned. Highlander. Got a bit of work to do. And he's only, well, he's less than a second actually behind Dado, and I think that may be the reason why it was changed over the positions there. Dado's elected to stay on the same set of tyres, whereas Highlander's changed tyres. I believe that'll give him an advantage. So now we've got to see, can Dado benefit from just trying to hold Highlander up, even if it's for 5 or 6 laps, it's still going to benefit in the long run. Oh no, he's had a big moment. Dado. Has he kept it off the wall? I think he has. So there we go. Highlander has made has been able to benefit this. The Le Mans chicane is catching the drivers out once again. Oh, and Sato spins there up at turn 1 as well, so he's not having a good time. So that brings Blue Falcon back into 4th position. And that's legit because Blue Falcon now is actually pitted, so, and he's got more fuel than Sato. So this is going to be a fight for a very minor position here for 4th, 5th position, I'd imagine, right through this race. So as we said, the Blue Falcon just being steady about it all, racing to his own ability as well. And hopefully continues on his way. So back up front here in the GTE class, so we've still got Dark Racing 40 with 20 litres of fuel remaining. And he's roughly 8 seconds in front of second Illogical Sports, who's then's got a healthy margin as well to the next Ford of J-Rud B of around about 12 seconds. He's doing a good job, J-Rud. He's holding in there, waiting for those line of pit stops to happen. And then further 37 seconds behind that is Dark Lord in the second of the Porsches, but in the number 92. As looks like Dado Racer or Highlander coming on through. And then Devil X in the third of the Porsches in 10th. And he's only 1.5 seconds in front of Jetto with better fuel too. So Devil, when he pitted too, didn't get any fuel. So obviously the young Tucker is probably sort of had to pit for some reason and forgot to obviously fill up at the same time. You always want to make sure you fill up, I think, when you are in this stage of the race, if you need to pit for repairs. So, and Gear 3 Gaming in 7th position. Not too far away from Jetto either, so there's going to be a nice little battle there for 5th, 6th and 7th through this race as well. So Sato's just staying in touch here with Blue Falcon. Obviously wants to make sure he makes a clean move, but he's going to have to probably hold here because there's a couple of GTE cars in front and doesn't want to do anything rational or anything very out of character, I probably should say. No, he's got to run, but that's the thing, he's just going to have to play it easy. He's just going to, and these cars have a lot of aero rush coming into the Le Mans chicane, so he doesn't want to be that close. Otherwise, he's going to find it hard pulling it up, as he has. He's had to he hasn't done too bad. Actually, I think that maybe what he just did, he actually shortened it, took his normal line. It just Blue Falcon maybe a little bit wider, so it made it look like Sato was struggling to pull it up and turn in. Oh, so we're just saying here that with the shared pit stops, pit bays for some reason, well, Commander Cirrus was actually pitting, and Matty Seekin actually had to wait while Commander Cirrus was in the pit bay. So yeah, that's a bit of a weird one there. LMP2 car and a GTE car sharing the same pit bay. I've never so yeah, little glitches in the game, unfortunately, and those two guys have both had the cold tyre glitch, so maybe that could be a reason there. why that also was the case. So if only the developers still develop that game, it would be a very wise little thing to sort of think about, that both those guys shared pit bay, and both had the cold tyre glitch at the same time, and all the other cars don't seem to be sharing pit bays. So there you go. But anyway, back to the race here. Sado has obviously made that move on Blue Falcon, but back into 4th position. Obviously with a little bit less fuel as J. Rudd B's coming on into the pit bay for his stop. And J. Rudd B's on lap 29. So that's almost just under the hour mark. We started with hour 2 hours 25, and we're up to hour 34. So you got about 50 minutes out of that tank. So it looks like he's just got fuel on there. It was a 37-second stop, and he's out and dropped a position to Dark Lord. But Logical Sports is, Devil X, sorry, has just lost touch there a little bit, and of him, Dark Lord. Coming around here onto the main starting straight. So an hour and a half, just over an hour and a half remaining. And the lead is Highlander, 1777. With a 10-second lead, which was roughly what the gap was when they pitted. And obviously Dado's come into the pits without changing tyres, where Highlander obviously did. And again, Dado now is Sado behind him, obviously trying to unlap himself again. So a little mistake from Dado coming into the Le Mans chicane, cost him the lead of the race. But he's still in front of Metal Drive, who's 18 seconds behind Dado. I thought he'd be a little bit closer. And then obviously we have Sado, who's a lap down, as is Blue Falcon. So then the leading class of the GTEs, you can see the Porsche still got just under 12 litres of fuel remaining, and doing a good job out in front in the 42s. And he's got a nice healthy 10-second gap to a Logical Sports in the number 8 P51 Sim Sports Ford. And then we have Dark Lord, 78 in 3rd. Fairway, he's actually conserved quite a bit of fuel, Dark Lord. 16 litres. Oh, no, it's about the same. So, yeah, no, 10 litres for Darky. So Darky's coming in now. Obviously, he knows it's no use taking it all the way to the end. So Darky pits. He's pitting on lap 31. We'll see how long he's going to take. So we've got a Logical Sports. He's gone on through to take the lead of the race. And obviously that shortens his stop as well a little bit. Looks like he's going to be putting tyres on as well. Don't want to be doing a 2-hour stint really with the same set of tyres, so they've opted to change the tyres. J-Rod B obviously only did fuel. His was a 37-second stop. We're up to about 54 seconds now on the clock. So around about a 57-second stop for Dark Racing 40. And he's away. He's dropped down into 3rd. With J-Rudd B coming around the final banking, and will probably stay in 4th position as Dark Racing 40 making his way out of pit lane in pit exit. And we may say J Rudd just coming into shot. No, he's probably just hitting. There it is, into turn 1 now. So we know J Rudd's got some pace too, so he's shown that he's been able to do the same sort of times as Dark Racing 40. But with the tyres coming on, he's gained up some of that time, J Rudd B, to only be 7 seconds. So it's probably an option from J Rudd just to try and run these tyres down to the death. And he's been able to gain that time. So he's obviously been a winner in that pit stop battle. So J Rudd B might actually find himself actually in second position once a logical pits. So a logical's going to have to pit probably this lap around, I would say. So we'll keep an eye. Logical lead in the GTE bat class. And he's on lap 33. So he's extended that by about 2 laps if he pits in here. So we had J Rudd pit on lap 29 for fuel only. Lap 31 we had Dark Racing 40 pit for fuel and tyres. He was leader of the race. J Rudd B was actually in, I think it was 3rd position, and I think you will see that he will leapfrog a Logical Sports here. We'll keep an eye on a Logical stop as he's finding his pit bait. So he extended that by 2 laps from Dark Racing 40. So he's come from first. So it looks like a Logical, he's got the fuel in, so he's doing tyres as well. So the question will be, where will J Rudd B filter out? So we'll see, so that's 48 seconds. So that was quicker. As you can see, that was because the Porsche has to have more fuel. It gets more fuel in. It has 95 litres compared to the 89. So Darky has taken the lead of the race again, but let's see where well, Dark Lord has actually, but he's yet to pit. So Dark Racing 40 is just coming around now. So he's actually taken a Logical, as he's still coming out of pit lane. But J Rudd B is going to be right on a Logical, not too far away. You can see the headlights just a little bit there. So J Rudd B, when it goes there, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, just over 5 seconds to J Rudd B. So he's made up a bit of time. Obviously electing not to put tyres on those. So will he be able to hang on to these guys with older tyres? That's the question. They're only going to have to pit once more, these leading pair. Oh, these 3. Actually 4, you should say, because J Rudd's definitely in this battle. Devil X, he's got a pit yet. He's going to fall back, obviously, because he's got to take his stop. Dark Lord's been fuel conserving, and he's going to run for a little bit longer by the looks of things. So the audio of Dark Lord's car's not really coming through on my headset, so hopefully it's coming through on the stream. Let's just bring ourselves actually on the roof. You can just sort of hear it's very low. So he's doing another couple more laps. He may get another lap if he wants. And he's 5 seconds, so he's leading this race. And we've just gone past the hour mark. They've been running for an hour. And we have Highlander in the lead, 19 seconds in front of Dado, so he's dropping some time, obviously on those older tyres, so maybe that wasn't the right move. He's well and truly in that battle though, so he's still can in the second round of fuel stop, Dado will be on fresh tyres. I'd say Highlander will probably know that Dado may not, by the way that the timings are, that Dado and how quick his stop was probably an understand, so he probably didn't pit for tyres. So with Highlander with that gappy, I'd say if you put tyres on again regardless. So Jettos and Dado are the only ones, again, as they coming through on the screen, same shot there. They're both the only two guys without any time penalties. And Jetto's only, what, 4 and a bit seconds away from Gear. And we've got Gear's obviously stopped for fuel, so... We'll see Dark Lord coming around again. He's coming to the Western Horseshoe. Actually, no, yes, he is coming to the Western Horseshoe through the kink. So we'll be expecting Dark Lord in this lap around. So Dark Lord will be pitting on lap 36. Devils into the pits, dropping him to 12th, which I think he was already 12th, sorry, in 7th in class. Shame we don't get the audio out of Dark Lord's Porsche. Very loud at all. You see Darky's made 2 seconds on Dark Lord over the last couple of laps. Almost a second faster the previous lap Dark Racing was. So in comes Dark Lord. Onto the 60k mark, right into pit lane. Right on the marks there. We'll see what his stop is, just to see if he's just doing fuel only. So will this give an opportunity for Gear? Yes, it will. And I think he's a lap down though, Gear, I believe. No, he's not. So he's on the same laps as all those guys. So he's well and truly in contention here, as is Jetto. And Jetto's going to have to find himself into the pit lane very shortly. Now 20 remaining. Most of the leaders are only going to have to pit once, whereas Jetto's going to have to find himself pitting twice. That's going to be very costly for him. As who we were looking at before, Dark Lord has come out of the pit, so I think that he may have just done fuel only. So that gives Darky back the lead of the race, 8 seconds in front of a Logical Sports. As Highlander, here we got the two class leaders come into screen shots very shortly. Highlander's going to look down the inside, but have to probably just pull it up and follow. He just wasn't quite there, so that's a smart move. Knowing that he'll be able to get him here before the international horseshoe. Sets up nicely to do that. Nice clean overtake. Two class leaders on lap 41 for Highlander. And Dark Racing 40, we'll just have a look at the timings. He's on lap 38. So 3 laps down. Strong performance by Metal Drive 05, but getting back also, I was going to say about Commander Cirrus, who we unfortunately weren't able to give a little bit of a bio with all his victories and his big victories, but obviously, as we know, he was not the run-up. He won the race last year here at the Daytona 24 in the GTE class. He also won the Daytona 500, the Route 66 Daytona 500, which is 66 laps. It's a third of the race distance in the second split last year. Won that, and then the GTE, he won that at Le Mans in class in 2021. Formula C series, our final series of 2021, he won that as well. And that was a very hard-fought series between a number of drivers. And then in 2020, he's still seen the top dial a few times with the Imola 4 hours in the GT1. He took victory there. And also in the second split for the Spa 2.4 hours, he won that. And then the big one, well, it wasn't a big one, but it was back in the old days. It was a rewind back at the Memel Continental 300 at the Glen, the big Group C cars. He won that too in 2020, so that was probably a bit of a highlight. I think that was his first major victory, and yeah, he would have loved that too. So as we know, he was obviously being disappointed, as you can see in the chat as well, as we see Metal Drive now passing Commander Cirrus' teammate Jetto. Going to actually just not push his luck, find it on the exit. Probably a safer option here. As Jetto sort of running wide, it's a little bit of miscommunication here. A few signs have gone astray there, but never mind. Metal Drive still pushing through, and he's, as we said, 54 seconds in front of Sato, who will be seen in the pit lane probably in the next 4 laps, I would imagine. He's had a pace in the Judd, so all the guys, we haven't seen the Judd in previous Daytona 24. It's obviously got the pace under the rightful hands. It's a shame. It would have been a good 3-way battle, maybe even a 4-way battle, because we can't count out Metal Drive. He's still there. When we've gone past halfway distance very shortly, and he's still within a minute of the leaders, Metal Drive. As Sato overtakes, I believe, Dark Racing 40. Now, Logical, with his what would have been his teammate behind him, only 3 seconds. So you can see this was a very strong pairing. If we were able to do our team event, due to smaller entry numbers, we got down to only 8 runners. I mean, I could imagine it would have been a very lonely race for many over a 6-hour distance through a 24-hour period. So shorten it up to a 2.4-hour race, 1 full session, solo drivers. But when you look at 2 and 3, which would have been the P51 Sim Sports team drivers at the moment, and you've got Dark Racing leading the race with Gear 3 Gaming back in 4th, roughly around about just over 30, about 40 seconds, about 38 seconds or so behind his teammate Dark Racing 40. So again, they would have been still a strong pairing as well. Still a bit to play out, because as you can see, Dark Racing 40 has got a little bit more fuel than Gear, but Gear's got only a 20 litre difference, so that's not going to hold him up too much in the stop. So he's been ultra competitive. He's still in those 42s as well, so if he keeps that up, he's definitely on track to be able to get maybe a podium, if not even win the race if something goes foul for the front three runners. But as it stands at the moment, these three in the front, Dark Racing 40, Logical Sports and J-Rod B, haven't really put a foot wrong, so deservedly up front. And I don't think Gears actually had anything wrong either. He's had a few little mishaps, I think, with the faster cars coming on through. It's put him off a little bit. Dado's dropped a bit of time, quite a bit of time actually, to Highlander, so definitely these tyres are not playing for Dado for a double stint, unfortunately. I have to be honest, I was talking to Dado and I sort of suggested to him that maybe that's the way to go, is to double stint these tyres, but probably, obviously, by looking at it now, obviously the wrong option, because he's dropping plenty of time to Highlander. But there was that 20-second difference roughly in the timings, which got Dado in front, but obviously those tyres are probably crying out at the moment, and he's just not gaining anything out of it. Wasn't able to hold on, as J-Rod B now is very close to a Logical Sports for second position. So we'll keep our eyes on this as Dado just makes that move past a Logical. The two Fords now running side by side. So Logical had a bit of a slow lap that last lap around. There we go. So we're basically halfway through the race now, and as it's standing, there's not much in this GTE field as predicted. Our MP2s are sort of spaced out a little bit due to strategy calls. As Sato now is into the pits, he's had to bring it in as he's on 2.7 litres, and we know that roughly uses 3 litres a lap. And Sato's got 5-second time penalty as well on lap 44. So Blue Falcon, you'd imagine, will probably retake that 4th position while Sato's in the lane. So he's doing fuel and tyres by the looks of things. 43-second stop, so that was pretty fast for fuel and tyres. As Blue Falcon coming around the final banking, NASCAR banking. So he's not going to actually make that position up on Sato. That's unfortunate. He's lost a little bit of time. Back to this little battle here, into battle between would-be teammates. Now we did see Blue Falcon too with his fuel starting to go down, so he'll be pitting shortly as Jetto is now in to the pits. with 4 litres remaining. So he's into the pits. And that's on lap 42. And we'll see if he gets, he's obviously got that fuel tank, looks like it's filled up now. And obviously doing tyres. They'll leave him with a little splash and dash at the end. And J. Rudd B has actually made that move on a logical while we've been watching here in the pits, unfortunately, sorry. As Jetto will be, he's still in the pit bay, he's still been a long, lengthy pit stop here. This is probably for damage as well, I'd imagine. Blue Falcon now comes into the pit lane. So what's the logical got? Has he got anything left in reserve to fight back here at J. Rudd B? There's a 10 litre fuel difference. Will J. Rudd take the fight up to also Dark Racing 40? With an hour, 8 minutes remaining. He's lapping into the 42s, J. Rudd as well, so he's fairly competitive. You know, Darky's in the 42s most of the time at the moment, he has been. J. Rudd making his charge. A 42.4 that lap around, but Darky did a 41.999, so, you know, he's putting in a fast time, J. Rudd, but so is Darky as well. The track conditions are probably absolutely perfect for the GTE cars at the moment. Nice crisp air in the morning. Ooh, as Dado thought twice there just for a second. As Dado's pushing hard still to try and stay in touch somewhere for Highlander. And with what, 9.2 litres and 8.3 to Highlander. So it'll be very close for pitting in the next 2 laps. The leading LMP2 cars, Metal Drive, can probably go a couple more laps, which he probably will do that. There's all help at the end for their little splash and dash, or how long they're going to be stopped for. And Metal Drive's not too far away, really in striking distance of Dado for second. Oh, it's Blue Falcon actually coming on through. I thought it might have been Metal Drive. Hard on the brakes, and Logical was just ran wide, and you can just see how sometimes that can just, because you're so focused, it can just catch you out as well, which Blue Falcon has unfortunately had that happen to him then. Which he won't be happy about. Metal Drive in early, taking the opportunity maybe for a little undercut. So lap 49. So he's got the fuel in. doing tyres by the looks of things as well. But definitely a good job by these two. The only Fords on the grid. And Dado's come in a lap early. So he's had enough. He thinks, nah, got to get these tyres on. So Dado's on lap 50. Bits for fuel and tyres. And Middle Drive has just exited the pit lane there now. Clearly in front of Sato. Oh, not clearly, actually, only, actually I thought I was going to say 4 seconds there, I went to 4 seconds, but yeah, where are we now? What did he say in 4 seconds? So Sato's not that far behind. So yeah, he's just come out of the first corner and into the kink here. So Sato, as he always is, making his way back through the field. And he's got Metal Drive's teammate in Blue Falcon in front of him, and then you'll have Metal Drive. So this is a battle for third, and well and truly on, because the fuel levels are very close, about 14 litres difference or something like that it would be. Nothing much at all for the next pit stop. Metal Drive will have to be putting it in here. Dado's out now, going through the kink. And obviously we'll see Highlander come in here. He's cut it nice and fine. He's got enough fuel though to get him to the garage. But he'll almost be on fumes. Look at this, 0.6 of a litre, 0.4. So in comes Highlander on lap, what are we looking at, lap 51. So let's see, you obviously have to be putting fuel and tyres. You'd be silly not to put tyres on after seeing Dado struggle in that last stint. So Dado now, where is he? He's coming on through. So Dado's going to take the lead of the race. So the undercutters work perfect for Dado. Is that right? Or is Dado only just... No, what's going on there? So Dado's... I'm not too sure what's going on here. Dado is obviously fell a lap down. The timings aren't correct, so I don't know what's going on with our timings here. But surely Highlander hasn't gained a lap on everyone. So it doesn't look like the timings are working for us here at the moment. So it does show here that Highlander's basically gained a lap. Almost. So Dado obviously, when he was about 40 odd seconds behind, obviously had a spin probably on that lap before that. So he's well and truly fallen off the pace here, Dado. So that's unfortunate, but back here to this battle here. J-Rod B's now got it within under 10 seconds. And he's bringing the Logical Sports along for the ride as well. So Dark Racing 40, he'll be starting to get sweaty knuckles at the moment. Knowing that these Fords absolutely flying at the moment. Dark Racing 40, we know that his fuel consumption is a lot better. But he's still going to have a splash and dash, and he won't have to put as much fuel in as the others. And he did pit a bit early too, Darky. And the other one is Sato. He's slowly catching up to Metal Drive as well, but I had a bad lap the previous lap with a 45. With Metal Drive into the 36s. So I got a little bit confused there during the pit stops there. I thought Dado had, obviously because he pitted early, so Highlander would have pretty much put a lap on him. So that's why that all was around that way. So yeah, the timings are correct. With Dado a minute 10 seconds behind Highlander. And with Dado with fresh tyres on now, we'll see if he can start getting into those 35s again. As those tyres come up to pressure. Very pressure sensitive, this Balti Motorsport car, we found. If they're not quite there, it's a bit more of a handful. So it's you need to get those tyres within their operating pressure to really make the most out of this car. And there he's in with a 36. And Sato's just dropped a little bit to Metal Drive. He was within 5 seconds before. But then did a 35 the previous lap to Metal Drive's 37. So it's the ebbs and flows of traffic, one would imagine. I'll tell you what, these Fords are looking very racy at the moment. They don't want to be holding themselves up, so they need to make sure that they're not interfering with each other's progress, trying to catch down this Porsche of Dark Racing 40. He's just been able to extend the gap a little bit from the previous lap, but at 42.9 that last time around. One would say that these guys are a little bit slower again because they were within 10 seconds the previous lap. Yep, 43s. Maybe J. Rudd may want to do the switcheroo with a logical, try and work together to try and catch the Porsche with just under an hour remaining of this race. Gear 3 Gaming's not out of this either, only 27 seconds behind those group of Fords. And will we see maybe Gear throw down he could actually take the opportunity to stop now, fill the car up. Because the Porsche handles fairly well as well with a full tank of fuel, but fill her up, get fresh tyres on, and really challenge in the later part of this race. So they're the things that's so hard to do here on the Xbox when you don't have able things to be able to have spotters, and I guess they're all in the same chat and the same race chat. So you don't have these people in your team to start telling you these things, like someone like ourselves watching it from far away can sort of see these things unravel and suggest these different ideas. As Dark Lord 78's doing exactly that, taking the opportunity to pit and to see if he can, obviously, because he's going to fill it up, get fresh tyres on, depending when he last pitted, because he's still had quite a bit of fuel there, and run to the flag now. So he knows that he can get to the end. And we'll just see here that the time is for Dark Lord on lap 50. Now obviously I think he's a fair way behind though for to really challenge. But if anything happens to these cars in front, he can obviously benefit, but he's basically secured himself now to be finishing in front of Jetto, as I've just realised that that somewhere along the line we have lost Devil X. So I don't know what lap that would have been around, but anyway, so that's Devil X racing one of the Porsches. So one of the Porsches are now from 4 to 3 on the track. And Logical has made that move from J-Rod B. Again, missing it, sorry, to the people watching. And J-Rod's actually made a mistake, 7 seconds behind, so something happened. He's obviously had a spin. And in comes a Logical Sports to do exactly what I was talking about the Porsches. So here he comes, he's in. Will we see that this will work? So this is the only chance that a Logical's got really to try and do something to that leading Porsche. So it's a good strategic move here. But will Darky respond? Will he put new tyres on too? The tank's full. No, it was just fuel only. So Logical out. So we'll go to the leader here, Dark Racing 40, see if he takes the opportunity to pit, just to avoid any problems there where they undercut. But one would think without fresh tyres on the car of a Logical Sports, it may not help, but we'll see. Dark Racing would have seen that he was under the pump. Actually, it was around 10 seconds the difference, and now he's got J-Rudd 21 seconds. So in between all that, we had obviously a Logical pit from second, and he's now running third. His Gear 3 Gaming is pitted as well, so he's made sure. Oh, was Blue Falcons just missed the braking after having a draft from Dark Racing 40. Caught him out. There's Gear 3 Gaming now rolling. Full tank of fuel. Saturday's starting to now get onto the back of Metal Drive within 3 seconds. So we'll keep an eye on this. This is probably going to be the battle for the next few minutes in the 4C Motorsport car. It was roughly a second faster than Metal Drive the previous lap. So as the morning starts to wake everyone up here at Daytona 24. We've got just over 51 minutes remaining, and we're just watching Metal Drive in third position as he's starting to now come under the pressure of Saturday 15, who was leading this race early on the race, but caught out and had a couple of spins after leading for around about 9 laps or so. And now we'll see if Sato can get himself on that podium spot. Both cars will need a pit again before the end of this race. And Sato has been throwing everything at this race. Unfortunately, Devil X's Xbox has failed, shut itself down after being on for too long. So that's unfortunate for Devil. Finishing these long endurance races is obviously a mission for anyone that enters. And he had some good showing there. He was running up fairly high at one stage there from memory too, in the podium spot. Him and Gear 3 Gaming were actually having a very good inter-Porsche battle. But as he come out of night time now into day, these drivers have another challenge of the sun rising. Well, we have got a bit overcast skies, I think, there, and but also the bit of the fog, the bit of the mist that sort of hangs around the infield. As we may take an opportunity to just run on the roof cam here of Metal Drive. They may not get that mist due to the overcast skies. You can see it's quite threatening there, actually. Especially out here, out towards the west. But anyway, I think it'll stay dry for the remaining of this race. Don't think there's too much in it. Metal Drive now wanting to clear Logical nice and early and cleanly, as Sado is right behind him doing the same thing, wanting to clear Logical if he can before the Le Mans chicane. And he's not going to, he's going to get held up. So Sado has been balked through the Le Mans chicane. It's going to cost him dearly. Probably going to lose himself 2 to 3 seconds by the time he gets back up to speed here, as Metal Drive still pulling away. It wasn't actually too much there that he lost, but it was enough, as Metal Drive, having the luck of the GTEs at the moment, being able to clear the Porsche there. Again, now we'll see if Sado can make this move into the international horseshoe of the Porsche note. Oh, yes, he has. Camera was zoomed right in onto Sado, so he was able to make that move down through the apex of the international horseshoe. So that's a plus for Sado. Still chasing hard for third position, Sado. And second position is, I wouldn't say actually second position is probably out of the cards. Just realised how far Metal Drive is behind Dado, another 50 seconds. So Dado though, 1 minute 11 behind Highlander. So that middle stint really did cost Dado, because he is in the 35s with those fresh tyres. So I tell you what, I think I'm going to have to apologise to Dado dearly, because he was within 10-15 seconds, I think, when they pitted. And actually behind, yeah, but he came out in front, but was unable to hold off Highlander with the fresher tyres on Highlander's car. He'll be happy with the second at the moment, Dado. It's not over that yet, with 46 minutes remaining. Oh, we've lost someone. Someone has just left us. And I'll put the map on it, it'll tell me here in a minute. I think we're definitely someone left us, because we're only down to 10. Oh, J-Rud B. Unfortunately, J-Rud B has been disconnected by the looks of that. Oh no, he was going so well in third position as well. So, I'd say that'd be lap 56 maybe. J-Rud B gets disconnected. So that's a tough thing to take after running actually in second position. Doing the chasing of Dark Racing 40, and probably was lining up to go in for a pit stop as well, and may have come out in front of Illogical Sports again. Though it's a shame these things happen. And you never like to see it happen. But anyway, back to it again with Darky. Yet to pit for his final time. We know Illogical's already pitted. He's good to go, as is Gear 3 Gaming. He's, 30, basically a minute though behind Illogical. So he's trying to hold on to this now third spot to Dark Lord, who Dark Lord's good to go to the end. And Jetto's still roaming around. He's going to have to pit for a splash and dash. He's not going to get to the end. He had to pit early for damage, unfortunately, Jetto. And so he's out of sync of everyone else. So he's going to have to pit again. So Metal Drive's had a good run through the GTE traffic then, and he's actually extended that lead to Sato. And slowly catching Dado as well. He was about a minute behind Dado. And within 46 seconds now. Still a long way to go in this race. 43 minutes. And splash and dash for these cars yet to happen. And has everyone calculated their fuel right for these LMP2 cars? Will they put too much in, which might maybe hold them up for that little bit longer? Do they change tyres for the last run to the flag? So we can't take any away from Metal Drive. He's done an outstanding drive in the K-Max number 11. Looking for probably his best result here at Daytona 24. Le Mans 24-hour GTE champion in 2020 alongside Dado Racer, as we said before, in the Aston Martin. But how about Highlander? He's got a good report card. Daytona 24 hour. He was first in 2021 last year, so he's going to back-to-back. He's going for a three-peat, actually. He won the GTE class back in 2020 as well, so he's been unstoppable around here at Daytona International Raceway. So he's going for 3 in a row, but obviously in different class. And Open Division British Touring Car Championship. We've only had 2, and he won it in 2009, our inaugural season, and also last year in 2021 in the Open Division. And then he was an Asian GT3 champion back in 2018 in the Pro-Am division. And also winning the GT3 VLN series, which was featured the GT3 and I think the GT4 cars. He was a champion in 2017 in that series. So he's got a good report, a good record, I should say, with ANZCRL Combined Racing League. And I'm sure Simo Racing is got a little, a bit disappointed that we couldn't continue on as a team event throughout this weekend due to the low numbers. As Simo, we know, was I think he was heading up to open the first session on Saturday, and would have had another Le Mans 24-hour win as well. But as we said, 40 minutes remaining, still yet to go. There's a long way, and anything can sort of happen. And there's still plenty of lap cars to overtake as Blue Falcon comes in for a pit stop for his final one. He'll be cutting it fine. He should be able to get it there because you just don't want that extra lap depending on how they go with the timer. As the timer's ticking down now, he should be right regardless if they cross the line with only a little bit to go. But knowing Highlander, he'll probably slow that down if he's got a nice lead. and see how he goes. So, and the other man that we couldn't say much because he's gone too early before we could even say anything was Matty Seeking, the GT4 Endurance Team Series winner back in 2021, alongside, I believe, Illogical Sports, I think it was. So, yeah, he's done fairly well. Matty Seeking, unfortunately not here anymore. Now, I think I may not have gone through with Dark Racing 40. We may as well go through now with 40 minutes, just under 40 minutes remaining. Oh, J. Rudd B was another pit lane limiter disqualification. Oh no, so it's come back to haunt him after the qualifying run as well, just coming in through the feed. So that's very unlucky for J. Rudd B. And so yeah, unlucky buddy. But Dark Racing 40 awarded the Triple Crown back in his second inductee. Shad's been the first of the ANZCRL Combined Racing League Triple Crown. And that's from winning the Indy 500, Le Mans 24 Hours, and also the Bathurst 1000. So in his report sheet, you're going to hear those ones. But start off with Daytona 24, where you won the LMP2 class back in 2020. So obviously aiming, and as you could have had 2021 in the GTE class after running out of fuel on the last lap in this car. So he's hoping to put that to bed and win in dual classes, just like Highlander has done here at Daytona. Le Mans 24 Hours, he has been a machine there. He has won in the LMP-H class in 2021, 2020. Then in 2018, he won the LMP2 class as well as 2017. So he has won 4 Le Mans 24 Hours. So if you ever want a teammate for Le Mans, middle of the year, he's your man. And he's won it in all classes there. Other than we run the GTE now, so maybe he might be hunting the GTE class for the GTE crowd for Le Mans 24 Hours. Get ready for the speed dial of Dark Racing 40 to be a teammate. Now, he won the Bathurst 1000, the race that eluded him so many times in 2021. He's not a huge fan of the V8 supercars, but he won it to take that Triple Crown. So he may do commentary duties this year, I would imagine. But getting back to all his other famous victory series, he's won the Imola 4 Hours twice in the touring cars in 2021 in that class, and also outright in the over the more fancy GT4 cars. And then the LMP 900, when they ran at Imola 4 Hour for 2020, he won that as well. He was the British Touring Car Championship last year in the Pro Division. And he also won the Endurance Team Series alongside Sado in the LMP3 class last year. The BMW Spectacular, he ran 4 or 5 different BMW models throughout the end of 2020. He won that overall as well. He was the Indy 500 champion in 2020. The Toyota GT86, he won the Open Division of that in 2019. The Vintage Le Mans Series, the Vintage Group A, the GTA car, I think that was, sorry, it was 2018, he won that. 24 Hours of Spa, he won that in 2018. And then the Australian Prototype Series was his first series he won back in 2017. So we've got a rich history. We're starting back in 2016, but Darky has won everything from 2017 to current date, and he's on his way at the moment to add another win to the mantelpiece, the 2022 Daytona 24, if all keeps going his way. Yet to pit, minute in front of Illogical Sports, but obviously Darky won't have to pit for too long because he doesn't have to put too much in the tank, probably half a fuel tank. To get to the end. So big history there for Dark Racing 40, been there almost since day one to starting back in 2016. And very, very valued member and admin to our group. Does a lot of work, does the photo competition every year, puts out his hard-earned money for some prizes for a photo competition he's done for the last 2 years. And that ends up being our screenshot photo on Facebook, which I believe Slide Science won last year with a capture from a Assetto Corsa, Competizione. Now, Dark Lord 78, he won't go missing. He's won the Imola 4 Hours last year, the GT4 winner. So he's had a nice victory here at ANZCRL Combined Racing League in a major event. Currently running 4th. And we've got Porsches at the moment 1, 3 and 4. With a Ford in 2nd in class, and then the Chevy Corvette, the Corvette of Jetto, the last of the P51 Sim Sports cars, in 5th. As Sato now, we better get our concentration back up here for the 3rd position, as he's now getting onto the latch of on the back of Metal Drive. So Sato's not too far out of needing to pit, so you know, he's going to pit, so you probably find that he'll try that big undercut, depending on how much fuel. He wants to make sure he gets that fuel level right. It's dark, he's into the pits for his final stop, but we'll keep an eye here on this battle. We won't miss this anything here if we can avoid. I've missed a couple, unfortunately, by watching some cars in the pits, trying to manage a few things all at the same time. It can be a little bit difficult, but we'll just have a quick look at Dark Racing on lap 64. He's pitted for what one would say was just for fuel only. And Blue Falcon did drop down actually into the GTE class run-ins, and being able to get back into that 5th overall. With Darky pitting. What an intense battle these guys are having. So Dado's still in those 35s, so yes, again, I think that obviously trying to stay on those set of tyres costed Dado in that middle section of that race, unfortunately. I'll take 80% of that blame. As here comes Sato, as I did suggest to him to keep those tyres on. And here we go, so Sato, quick stop it's going to be. He's got more than enough fuel to get to the end, I think, here. So 24-second stop. So Metal Drive, will we see him come in next time around? We saw Sato last couple of in the night time coming out of pit lane here and spinning it out of this section here before they gets back onto the course proper. He won't repeat that again. And off he comes, out he comes, I should say. Rejoins the race, still in 4th position. And still aiming for this 3rd position. So what will Metal do? Will he stick to his guns, what he was going to do, or will he pit? Will there be a benefit to actually pin? Should he run still on lower tanks to keep that pace up? And if he's not changing tyres, there's probably no benefit actually stopping. Just run it and stick to what he was originally going to do. So Highlanders responded with a 35.3 as well. Jetto's now knocked themselves into a time penalty as Dado's still the clean skin of the field. The medals are lapping similar sort of times to what Highlander did, 35.7. He needs to keep this pace up because Sado will be trying to go fast on these couple of out laps as well. And also Sado will have to be careful that he doesn't overcook it, still on the older tyres. Sorry about that, I just had a telephone ringing, so I just had to wait for that to quieten down. It's Metal Drive, as we said. What time is he going to do? Is he going to stay in those 35s or 36? Sado's outlap was of 1:49, so pretty respectable time there. On a 35.6, so fastest man. Oh, Dado's actually fastest man on track at the moment. So again, Highlanders outsmart everyone, I think, by putting tyres on each stop. I don't think he'll be putting tyres. Well, he could afford to put tyres on this next stop because he's got plenty of a gap in front of everyone, just to make sure he's safe. And a 35.16 again, Highlander. He's just starting to really throw down these times. And Metal Drive's just hanging on at the moment on the lead lap. He's coming through the NASCAR banking turn 2, I think it is, looks like. Actually, no, he's not. He's coming out of the final banking. So actually, no, he's a lap down. So Dado's the only one actually holding on to be the same lap at the moment. But Dado's used a little bit more fuel than Highlander. I can't remember when Dado pitted, if he pitted, actually he pitted a lap earlier than Highlander, so that's why the fuel's difference. You should see Dado probably stay out for another 2 laps. Sado was faster than the 2 Metal Drive. It's going to be very close when Metal Drive does decide to pit, where he's going to come out. That's really the battle at the moment for on track. Dark Racing has got a 7-second gap over Illogical Sports with enough fuel to the end. Illogical, hopefully he's got his numbers sorted because that's fairly low. And I think Darky's probably putting a lot more than what he really needed. He had the gap to be able to do that, but Illogical's really pushing hard here. And I think that's the Porsche just in front when he was going through the kink. So there's nothing in this. So the GTE class going to go right down to the wire with maybe a logical only going to have the smell of fuel on an oily rag, running on an oily rag I should say. Oh, the time penalties for a logical 10 seconds compared to 2 seconds from Dark Racing 40 could be costly. It won't, not could be, it will be. That's a big gap that he needs to pull if he does get in front of Dark Racing 40 for the lead. He's definitely trying his hardest here at logical. One could just imagine the pain he's going through at the moment with recurring back injury and been sitting in this sim rig. Well, actually, it's been longer, but the race has just been going for just over 2 hours. He's brought that gap down, even though that previous lap wasn't as fast as Darky for some reason. Could be just where we are on the track though, but you can see the Porsche, it's definitely Darky, just going through that kink. So Logical's got sight of Dark Racing 40. Can he cause Dark Racing 40 into a, as Dado comes in for the pit stop? And so does Jetto. And that was only a 15-second stop. So he's... and Highlander's come in. Almost putting a lap on Dado. So it looks like Highlander's putting tyres on too, because he can afford that. They roughly got the same amount of fuel, 50 litres. Here's the big one, Metal Drive, in. On lap 74. Will he get out before Sato comes through? So let's see, stop. Sato had a 24-second stop. We're up to 16 seconds, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. It's a longer stop. That's going to bring Sato 30 seconds. There's a 5-second difference there. Here comes Sato though. So Sato's been held up. But Metal's still got to go down pit lane here. So here comes Sato. Sato's going to take third position from Metal Drive. There it is. And Metal Drive has just been released from pit lane now. Just got to keep it clean through here. He's done well. Now he can try and chase down Sato if he can. It's going to be like a gap between Dark Racing 40 and a Logical Sport. I would imagine about 6 seconds. Probably less than that. There goes Blue Falcon. I mean, not Blue Falcon, Metal Drive. I think Sato's through the kink there. So yeah, around about that 6 seconds still, the difference. Sato's doing a terrific job coming back after a setback early in the race. But here we go here. So Logical Sport's still trying to push, but I think he's just going to run out of time here. And he's also got those time penalties that is going to really hurt him. But a second position for a Logical in this Ford. What a result this will be for a Logical to open up 2022. We were only going to see a Logical Sports, I believe, through Xbox Project Cars 2 special events here at ANZCRL Combined Racing League. Really concentrating his PC sim racing and does a really good job. You've got to hit him up there on his YouTube channel for Logical Sports. Good content, good information in some of his races that he's doing throughout 2022. Also representing ANZCRL Combined Racing League and a few selected iRacing events. Ran at the Daytona 24 a few weeks back with Commander Cirrus, Matty Seeking, Sato 15. As Highlander just makes a move there, put a lap down. With a 54-second lead over Dado. Something drastic has to happen to Highlander for Dado to have a chance here. And we've got to see the outlap for Metal Drive was a 1:52 compared to Sato's 1:49, so you can just see how important that outlap was from Sato. Massive outlap from Sato. So it's all about pushing hard on the in and the outlap. If you're going to try and leapfrog anyone in coming in the pit lane to make a position. Darky back in the 41.860 on that previous lap, so he's really probably putting the sword now to a Logical, I'd imagine. 43.7 for a Logical, so there's a big difference there. 2.8 seconds or roughly, something like that, 2.9 or something like that seconds. I mean 1.9, sorry, seconds. So let's see what Metal Drive can do this lap around. This is his next flying lap. He's done a 36.4, so just a little bit bit slower than what Sato's been doing. He may put a little bit too much fuel into that, cost him as well, being there for a little bit too long. As I said, it was a 5-second stop longer than Sato. If I had my timings right, it might have been only 4 seconds roughly. It was pretty close. As we said, Sato's magic outlap with the 49. Look at Dado with the 35.02 that previous lap. If only he was on the tail of Highlander right now. It was only 2 seconds behind. He could wipe those 50 seconds away, he'd be a happy man. We'll see if Sato can stay on the black stuff here for the remaining 17 minutes. He'll be happy with his third. He swapped and changed cars over the few days. He was man on hire at the start. That was his first comment he made when the event was published on Facebook. And he was open to anyone in any class. And ended up signing up with P51 Sim Sports with Matty Seeking in the Orica 03 Nissan. And when we still had 11, 10 entries, or even 9 entries, we were just on the border of still running. We really only like to run at least 10 with these special events. But 9, we thought, well, we'll still do it. There's a lot of people put a lot of effort into the team event. Then unfortunately, we had another one pull out, so we went down to 8. And much was discussed, and this was what we ended up coming out with, was the going to the Spa 2.4 hour format for the Daytona 2.4. So our next big special event where we run similar to the 24-hour full simulation is the Le Mans 24 hours, where we do the same format as what we would have done here at Daytona with the 4 sessions with team drivers. So hopefully, when the months get a bit cooler, we can get some of our members back and keen for Le Mans 24 hours and get that grid up to 10 to 12 again for the team event. As Le Mans is always something fairly special. As is this race, it's always our most anticipated one, because it comes back from our summer break, basically our Christmas holiday break. And we've got our IndyCar Championships series starting up on the 20th of February, so 2 weeks away. So head over to ANZCRL Combined Racing League over at our website. Just you can search ANZCRL, and I believe that may come up, but otherwise it's aus-nzcrl.weebly.com, or if you're on Facebook, search ANZCRL under groups, and you'll find us there as a private group. You just need to answer a couple of questions. Let us know that you're on Xbox. Obviously our title that we run on is Project Cars 2 still. Yes, it is an old game, but gives us a lot of enjoyment. Bit of disappointment as well, as we know some people getting that cold tyre glitch and disconnects and things like that. So sometimes when someone leaves, we've found it does throw other people out as well at the same time, unfortunately. But other than that, when it can run smooth, it has shown its potential of what this game could have been. And we still enjoy running our events on it, and we're really looking forward to the 8-round IndyCar Championship first race at Watkins Glen on the 20th of February, and they're about an hour, 20 races with compulsory tyre changes of the 2 compounds, and we've got safety cars in operation, virtual safety cars in operation, so should be a very good season. Getting back to the race here, Metal Drive is just fallen by the wayside, I think, of Sato. His later half of this race now was really in it there. The pit stop sort of held him up a little bit. Jetto's coming in for that final pit stop he needed. Unfortunately, that damage early on the race has cost him. But anyway, he's getting that final bit of fuel to finish this race. Logical Sports still that 10 seconds behind Darky. Gear 3 Gaming, he's done an absolutely sensational job, I reckon, in this Porsche. Doesn't do much racing with us here on Project Cars 2 anymore. Select little events that he does, like he keeps his eyes and ears peeled and chooses what he wants to do. And yeah, he does a good job when he gets into it. And obviously one of the other drivers is probably wishing that it was still a team event too, because he would have been there with Dark Racing 40 for the ride. And he's been there or thereabouts as well. He's actually, in 3rd position, minute 20 roughly behind the Logical Sports. And doing well to bring this Porsche home in 3rd position. And then we'll have another Porsche. Looks like someone's thrown a rock at the passenger side window there. Dark Lord 78. And he's in 4th position there. As we said, the last of the P51 Sim Sport cars of Jetto. Obviously not their weekend at all. He's the only car still rotating for the P51 Sim Sport crew. Actually, no, he's not, sorry. We got a Logical Sports, sorry. He's as high as 2nd, so that's something for the P51 Sim Sport crew to go home cheering about, to have a podium. And almost another one in the LMP2 with Sato, who would have was going to team up with Matty Seeking, as we said, in that open wheel Orica originally. A race that really could have been for Sato, I think. I think he could have been higher up and challenging this man here, Highlander. And unfortunately, it just didn't happen. The last person I think that we haven't really gone through much about is with their results is the Logical Sports. I may have done it earlier, but we may as well go through. And last year he had a top year. Actually, he pretty much cleaned up a lot of things last year. Did the Indy 500, won that. Was a GTE champion in Le Mans 24 Hours, alongside, I believe it was Commander Cirrus. And then we had the Spa 2.4 Hours. He won that. And then the Endurance Team Series in the GT4 in a Porsche with Matty Seeking, I think it was the winner there last year. And then we had a side endurance series. So we normally run only 6 series through the year. We threw an extra one which ran throughout the year in between all the other series. 2-hour, 3-hour races in the LMP-H's and GT3 cars, I think they were. And he became champion in that, in the LMP-H. I think it was the Toyota Gazoo Racing or the P51 Sim Sports Toyota. So some very healthy results he got in 2021 last year. So just under 10 minutes remaining. That'll be a long 10 minutes, I think, for some of these drivers. Again, Dado's never given up. He's still in the 35, low 35s. Highlander in the high 34s. It was predicted these two were going to be running together most of the race. Unfortunately, as I keep saying, I think the tyre strategy just didn't go into Dado's favour. Got him in the lead though, but just couldn't hold on to the faster Highlander with fresher tyres during the night. But I think all in all, I think Dado will be happy here in second, even though he's in a lonely second position. He's kept it on the lead lap, so that's another positive. So the Bolting Motorsport crew will be happy. And it shows that the Honda and both the Judd also with Sato 15 has got the pace. Look at this 34.521 late in the race by Sato. And just coming up to Blue Falcon. And great result for a Blue Falcon. Most of the time I've seen he's been in the 37s. He got into the 36s. We bring up the timings. I believe you'll probably see a best lap of a 36 for Blue Falcon. No, it wasn't a 37.040, so almost a 36. First time I believe Blue Falcon has actually been in more of a high-powered class of car. So doing well for that. It's a little bit to get used to, knowing that you've got all this aero to use to your advantage, and obviously these cars we run minimum aero, but they obviously still create a little bit of downforce through the corners. So then any of that aero wash, because it's so minimal that is set, you really affects these cars as well. So it's all a little bit of a learning curve of where to position your car, especially when you're traveling close to some other car. Try and keep out of the aero wash at the critical times. This car actually, in the first race of the Daytona 24, I took control of and looked like I was going to take victory in the first ever Daytona 24, but came under a lot of pressure in the last hour from Shads, who went on to win in the Cable Motorsport Ligier Nissan. Another yellow car. And fell by the wayside by 0.2 seconds for the lead of for the winning of the race. So one of the closest finishes ever, but just didn't have enough in the end. So you can see how close everyone really is though. The top four, when you look at 35.9 for Metal Drive, 35.3 for Sato, 35.6 for Dado, and Highlander just in the 34.9. So not much separating those. Second separating really the top four. And when they get clean laps, that was pretty much what it was right through the whole race as well. A second separating them all. So it looks like they're all going for records here. Darky's got a 42.199 second lap. Let's have a look to see what the fastest laps are. 42.130 by Commander Cirrus last year was the lap record. Darky with a 42.199, not quite there. Let's have a look at the timings though and see if he's actually done a faster lap. He has. He's done a 41, Darky, .698. So fastest lap by Dark Racing 40, Jedi 13, 41.759. So not much in it there. The fastest of the LMP2s was a 34.119 back last year with Simo Racing in the number 3, Ligier. And it's looking like Sato has broken that with a 34.044 in the Judd. So there you go. Not too shabby by Sato and the Judd Ligier. So maybe we might see a few more Judds in the field next year if we're forced to still run on Project Cars 2. Maybe the Judds had missed their calling after all these 5 years as well, with a time like that from Sato. But these guys are really ramping it up. 41.736 from Darky. So they're going at it, as it was brought up in the feeds. Jedi's been going at it, 42s as well. 3 minutes remaining. Darky obviously got the faith to try and push for these fastest laps. And obviously not too far off that still. So he's pushing hard. He's not throwing caution to the wind, that's for sure. Dark Racing 40. Hey, this could be actually a time where he could actually get the fastest lap too if he gets on the back of Dado here. Gets this right. Gets a nice little toe down the last corner. No, he's dropped a ton of time though coming into the bus stop. Sato with a 33 as well, so that's unbelievable from the man in third position. And 1 minute remaining. Now we'll just go through the fuel levels now that we've only got 1 minute 40 remaining, and make sure everyone's going to get to the end without a late stop. So we've got 12 litres for Highlander, 12 litres for Dado, 13 for Sato, 27 for Metal Drive, and that's where we could have seen where Metal may have got it a bit wrong. Blue Falcon 7.9, he'll be right. Dark Racing, no champion from him, but he for the other reasons he will be a champion, taking out victory today, this afternoon. 10 litres, 19 for Gear, 13 for Dark Lord, and 8.9 for Jetto, who's still trying to get the fastest lap. So he's got one more lap to try and do it, depending where the he's done a 41.5. I think that may have just been the fastest lap we've seen. Yes, it is. So he has got the lap record. We weren't on board, but we were watching him. So Jetto on the probably his last lap, has broken the lap record for GTEs. Highlander coming around the banking to come into the bus stop, I think, into the Le Mans chicane. So he's not going to actually get another lap in. So well done to this man here, Highlander, in the number 3 NVR racing team, back-to-back winners. A three-peat as well if you take into account the GTE class win that they had back in 2020 as well. I mean 2019 I think it was. No, 20, yeah. Well done to Highlander, and I will say Simo Racing as well. He's probably helped him a little bit on the way, so beautiful victory by this man here. Sensational job. Dark Racing 40's got his last bit of his lap to go. So Highlander will be very happy that that race is finished too. Dado Racer will come on through for second in class. I think that's Darky coming. Oh no, he's coming out of the out of the NASCAR turn 2. So Dado will pick up second position in the number 5 Bolting Ligier Honda. Well done to him. And I'm sure he'll be happy with that second position too. At 50 seconds behind Highlander. I think that it could have given it to him. And here comes the GTE Dark Racing 40. Finally takes that victory that eluded him last year. Well done to Darky. Coming home first in the GTE class. He'll be very happy about that. And Logical Sports will be second for the P51 Sim Sports crew in the number 8 Ford GTLM. Congratulations to Logical Sports and the crew of the P51 Sim Sports. They had a big attack on this race this year and came home second, so well done. And there we go with our results. With Highlander taking out victory and Dado Racer in second. Sato 15 in third with a great comeback drive, a lap down. And then Metal Drive in fourth. Just couldn't hold out Sato in the end. And Blue Falcon rounding out the 5 of the LMP2s. Dark Racing 40, as we said, sensational job taking that victory. The only thing he couldn't take home after that victory was the fastest lap, with Jetto 13 making that victory. Illogical Sports in second. Gear 3 Gaming, great job in third position for the Porsche racing team. 2 laps down and finishing in front of the second of the Porsches of Dark Lord 78. And then, as we said, Jetto taking the fastest lap in the GTE class but finishing 5th. So sensational result. I'll see if I can try and gather the winners. I think I'm going to need to start another party, so just bear with us. And we'll just run. Okay, we'll wait and see if we can get these guys in. Welcome, guys. When you get into the chat, make sure you select your audio if you can, please, for us.
Done that, Woody.
We'll start off with Highlander if we can, if he's ready to talk. Well done,
yeah,
Highlander. Mate. That's number 3 NVRR racing team. Back-to-back victories and also a three-peat as well if you take your GTE class win that you won back in, what year was that, 2020 it was. So well done, mate. How did that race pan out for you?
The beginning not as planned, and then I just put my head down in the night and tried to fix it.
Well, you sure did fix that. I tell you what, we knew you had a nice little. You took the lead of the race, and then I think you had a problem there on lap 1 where you spun it, I think, or lap. I did have it here somewhere.
Yeah, I got a
First
slowdown
corner.
in the bus stop, and and I didn't spin, but I got a slowdown in the bus stop, and I thought I'd try and clear it. I lost 2 spots clearing it and still got the penalty, and went, well, that's going to be the last one of them I try and clear.
Yeah, right. So Sato takes the lead on lap 3, and after that, with Dado coming on through, I think as well as you said, into second position. And then you're able to pick that up after when Sato actually had a moment through the Le Mans chicane and ran wide, and gave that to Dado. That move, and Sato then had to pit, and I think you got it back in the lead anywhere somewhere later on.
Yeah, I got it then. I got it when Sato spun. I was catching him at the time. I'd already passed Sato, so
yes,
I think maybe a little bit of pressure because he did have a 6-second gap on me, and I knocked it down to 2.
yeah, and I think the big moment too was through your mandatory. I mean, your scheduled stop. I think you went tyres as well, and I believe Dado held on to his tyres and lost a ton of time.
Yeah, so I intentionally did that because then I didn't take tyres nearly all night. And I made a lot of ground back, and I found that the first set of tyres just get a bit, I don't know, I just didn't like the feel of them. Just as the night changes, even though they're not that worn, I change them because I figure the car feels that much faster afterwards.
Yeah, so good move, and unfortunately you can't have Simo on board with you, but I believe he probably rode with you all the way. So
yeah, I was devastated I couldn't get one with him, but it was kind of cool to cross the line myself because I was always sort of co-driver, so it was good to show I could win it too.
Yeah, more than that, you're very dominant actually in that race, and also taking out, I believe, the fastest lap and also breaking the lap record at the same time. So
no, Sato got that.
Oh, Sato, sorry, got the fastest lap. It didn't come up on the screen, sorry. So
no,
so
Sato got that one. I was after it on the last lap, but I got held up by gear in the chicane, and it would have been close if I got it or not.
Yeah, nice. So that's a good result anyway. And then what we'll go through is the Porsche team had 4 cars in the attack this year, and Dark Racing 40 come out in front on that number 91 Porsche. That must feel bittersweet after last year, mate.
I'm actually more exhausted than excited right now. I'm incredibly hot right now, and my legs are killing me. I'm just kind of relieved that the race is over, so I can actually relax now. But yeah, I'm very happy with the result. I was a little bit worried just after, probably about midway, where Illogical and J Rudd sort of teamed up to sort of draft each other up to me, and I could see them slowly catching me. I thought, if these 2 guys keep it this, they're going to get to me before I know it, and then we'll see what happens then. But I think unfortunately Rudd had a spin and a crash, and that kind of put it hamper to that. And I was basically waiting for the sun to come out. When the sun came out, fresh the tyres, and where the Porsche went, it was off like a rocket because I knew I was pulling about a second a lap on Illogical after my pit stop. So I was very happy with the car after that.
Yeah, and you almost came away with the full lot with the fastest lap, but Jetto got you on his last lap. He got the fastest lap in the Corvettes and the P51 SimSport crew, but that Porsche racing car of yours was just seemed to be on rails. I don't think you did. We never picked up any mistake from you all race long, and and as you said, they were catching you. The 2 Fords, they were working together and slowly pegging you in. I think they got it down to around about 8-7 seconds, as you said, and then J Rudd had a little mistake, and then got disqualified through with a pit stop as well, with the pit limiter not engaging. So unfortunately, that ruined his chance as well.
Yep. So, but no, that was quite impressive to see them coming at me trying to weigh out. We weren't too far separated, I believe, for the whole race. I think it was maybe 20 seconds. It's probably the biggest gap at really any time of the race. So it was two and a half hours separated by no more than 20 seconds. That's pretty impressive, actually. So. Yeah,
the GTE class was very competitive, and I believe the LMP2 would have been as well. I think if Dado had opted to pit with those fresh tyres in the first stop, which through the coverage I probably admitted 80% of that was my fault, because I did suggest to him to maybe hold onto those tyres, but in the end, it's definitely cost Dado a ton of time. Though he came out in front of Highlander after being about 10 seconds behind. He gained that position by not putting the tyres on, but he just couldn't hold you back because your tyres, you're just too strong. So I built a pretty good margin in that stint too when he was on the old tyres. You did, and strategy paid off, and that's what these long races are all about. So congratulations to our class victors in Highlander 1777 in that number 3 NVRR racing team, and Dark Racing 40 in the 91A Porsche racing team car. Well done, guys.
Thank you very much, Woody.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Simo, for all your help over the last 2 years as well.
We won't forget Simo as well. Well done, guys. And until 2 weeks' time, a fortnight's time, when we come back for the IndyCar series for round 1 at Watkins Glen, be kind to everyone. Enjoy your rest of the weekend, and look forward to being on your screens in a fortnight's time. I've been your host, Woody Lizard, and we'll see you then. Cheerio.